Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is Turn the Page Books. I'm Paige, and today we are going to talk about my favorite romance books in honor of Valentine's Day. Disclaimer, I am not a huge rom-com book girly, but I do love a good romance every once in a while. So these are just some of my favorites that I've read over the past couple of years. One moment. I got the pink going for Valentine's Day, so gotta be festive. We're gonna start with Lynn Painter books. One of my favorites is The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. This is a Groundhog Day style romance. It takes place in a high school and the two main characters are very cute. This is the same author that writes Better Than the Movies, which is another one of my favorite reads. I do have a hard copy, but I can't find it at the moment. So I think it's at my work. I left it there for some reason. This one and Better Than the Movies, I highly recommend. They're both really sweet and well written. I love the main characters. Since these are YA, they are not gonna have a lot of spice, but the banter makes up for it. If you want a romance series that's full of drama, check out After by Anna Todd. This started out as Harry Styles fan fiction. I never read the fan fiction for Harry Styles, but I came across this book series after I watched the first After movie. I will say the movies are really, really bad. The books are better. They're really, really thick, and they're not some literary masterpiece that you're going to read and you'll be reading it and you'll get really angry and want to throw it against the wall. But that's what makes it so good. If you watch the show Tell Me Lies on Hulu, it's kind of giving that vibe. There's a lot of toxicity, but it's like a car crash that you can't look away from. You hate the main characters, but you also love them. It's a lot of mixed emotions, and there was a point halfway through the series that I was like, maybe I should just give up because I'm getting so frustrated. But for some reason, I couldn't stop reading. If you want something that you don't have to think too much about and you're just here for the drama, read that series. Then I highly recommend the Bridgerton series. The only one I haven't read is the last one. I think it's Gregory's story. And I haven't read Queen Charlotte or any of her spin-offs, which I do want to read because I loved the Queen Charlotte show. I really enjoyed all of the books. I liked that every book was a different character, and it's going to be the same way that the TV series is playing out on Netflix. I think the third season is going to be Benedict's season, and I'm very excited to see that come to life. That's like a Cinderella story, so amazing. Who doesn't love a Cinderella story? But if you love this show, I definitely recommend reading the book series too. It's not exactly the same as the show, but the show does it justice, and I love both of them. I want to say the After series and Bridgerton are not YA. They're definitely spicier. Not insane, but there's some spice in there, especially in the Bridgerton books. And the later ones, the When He Was Wicked, Francesca's book, that one was really spicy. The next book I want to talk about is Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. This is the second Christina Lauren book that I've read. I've only read two. I've only read Love in Other Words, and then, what is it called? It's called Something Wilder. I didn't really like that one that much. Clearly I didn't remember the name, but I loved Love in Other Words. It's a friends to lovers story, second chance romance. It was really sweet, and I could resonate with some of the characters in the story. Like, this would be such a good movie too, and I pictured Lucy Hale as the main character. Or the girl from Jane the Virgin too. She would be good at that too. You guys ever do that? Like, who do you picture when you're reading? Do you picture actors, or do you make up a person in your head? I can't talk about romance books without mentioning Abby Jimenez. I read Part of Your World. I read this one a couple years ago, so I'm trying to remember everything that happened. I do remember really liking it and wanting to read more of her books. I have with me a copy of Yours Truly. I think a lot of the characters in her books kind of cross worlds, so it should be interesting to see how this one plays out. A book I read a couple summers ago was called Every Summer After by Carly Fortune. I read this book so fast. I was on vacation when I read it, and I would wake up early and go to the beach at 6 a.m. for the sunrise, and I would read this book. I loved it. Again, a second chance romance. Very similar concept to The Summer I Turned Pretty with the brothers and going to a summer house. I loved the main character. I related to her a lot. She loves horror movies and spooky things, but that was just a fun personality trait that's similar to mine. And I loved the male main characters in the story. There's another one of her books that has like a pink sunset cover. that has mixed reviews, so I haven't read that one yet, but I did love the other one. So I might pick up the one with the pink cover, I can't remember what it's called, over the summer and read that one and see what I think. Then we have Emily Henry books. I have read a few. I've read Happy Place, Funny Story, I haven't read Beach Read, The People We Meet on Vacation. I've read those 3. I have Beach Read and Book Lovers that I'm going to read soon. I liked them all. There were some that I liked more than others. I liked Funny Story better than Happy Place. My favorite one that I've read so far was The People We Meet on Vacation. I thought it was a really fun summer read. I can't wait to see how it plays out with the movie that's coming out. I think it's a movie or TV show. The lead actress in that was in My Lady Jane on Prime, and I loved that show. I was so sad when it was canceled. Don't even get me started on that. I do recommend that book, and it's so much fun to read a book before the movie comes out. I finished Pucking Around by Emily Rath. This is the spiciest book I've ever read, hands down. And I read some like spicier books. I mean, I read like Haunting Adeline. That's like child's play compared to Pucking Around. This book takes place in Jacksonville, and I live like 30 minutes from Jacksonville. I'm basically in Jacksonville. I had to read it. It's a hockey romance, my first hockey romance that I've ever read. I don't really read sports romance. I'm not into sports that much. Physical therapist type of doctor. She goes to work with the Jacksonville Rays, which is Jacksonville's hockey team that this author made up. She has a prior fling with one of the players that she realizes. There's another player she's into, and then there's like one more. This is a why choose romance. Because why not? Why not have 3 hockey players? I mean, I wouldn't say no. The reviews on Goodreads are hilarious for it. Not a whole lot of plot compared to the spice in the story. However, I did enjoy it. It was a fun read. It's one you can't take too seriously. You can't think too much about, and just like enjoy your time. Read and enjoy your time. I do have the next book in that series. No, I think it's not the next book. It's the 3rd one. I didn't realize there were 3. I went to a romance bookstore and I picked up Pucking Sweet. So there's another one, Pucking Wild or something like that. That's the 2nd one, and this is the 3rd one. And it follows different characters in the same universe. Again, a thick book. The other one was like 750 pages, I swear. I mean, why not, right? I do really quick want to mention The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid and The Idea of You by Robin Lee. They have romance in them. I don't know if the genre would technically be romance for both, maybe a subgenre of it, but they're a little bit more of tearjerkers, heavier content than the other books that I've mentioned, and I do love them both to pieces. They're both some of my favorite reads of all time. I highly recommend those. 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is so popular. It follows the life of an actress, Evelyn Hugo, and the reporter who is documenting her story of her life. The Idea of You is about a woman who is a mom. She's like in her 40s. She meets a younger man who is in a boy band, and they start a relationship, and it's just the struggles that come along with that and the effects it has on her relationship with her daughter and her life in general, and I loved it. So yeah, really quick, I just want to share that I went to a Taylor Swift themed romance bookstore. So much fun. It's in Orlando, Florida. I'll put in some footage about it, but it was amazing. I can't wait to go back, and I will do some more bookstore vlogs too. You know, I'm a Swiftie and I love books, so this was like heaven for me. If you have any recommendations for me for some romance reads, drop them in the comments. Tell me your favorite romance book. I hope everyone has a wonderful Valentine's Day. Whatever you're doing, if you're single, if you're married, if you're dating, whatever, just enjoy your time. Like, do some self-care. My husband will be working, so it'll be just me and my daughter, and I'll probably read a book and do what I normally do. So have a great week. Bye.